And we will call the meeting to order at midnight. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:50 p.m., please, if we could. Okay. Hopefully everybody's had an opportunity to look at the agenda. So if we could have an approval for the agenda. Speak up, guys, anybody? Who's that, sorry?
I'll make a motion, dude.
Okay, so when you make a motion, say Barb makes a motion or Connie makes a motion, so we just know, okay? So who makes the motion?
Barb makes the motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. A seconder, please.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Mary Ann?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so resolve that the agenda is approved. Okay, disclosure of pecuniary interest and the nature thereof. Are there any conflicts of interest that we need to address before we move forward?
I don't think so.
There are none. We'll move on. Approval of the minutes from the March 13th meeting. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look over the minutes from March 13th.
No.
Basically, March 13th was a meeting where things were looking great, and we were talking about pancake breakfast and turkey dinners and euchre kickoffs and tin mugs and CPR training and first aid and food handling and all kinds of wonderful things that were going to happen this year, and our big project, our big expansion, and everything came to a screeching halt. So hopefully everybody had a chance to scan over those minutes. Anybody need a minute to look over the minutes, or are we good?
I think I remember. I just got it printed off, so.
We can have someone to approve the minutes, please, from March 13th.
Yeah, I'll approve the minutes.
Mary Ann approves. Seconder?
Ed seconds.
Ed seconds. Thank you, Ed. Okay. So we have approved the minutes. Okay, so business arising from the minutes. Burnside's facility assessment. I don't know if we really have much to say on that right now. Again, since everything's come to a screeching halt. So there's not really anything to talk about on 5.1. Number 6, financial treasurer's report. Mary Ann, do you have a bit of an update for us?
Yeah, I just did a quick one here for you.
No, yeah, I've got it on.
Hey, Connie.
Hey, Bill. Bill, you forgot to vote on the agenda, and you forgot to vote on the minutes here. We took a first and second, but we didn't vote on it.
Okay, so let's go back.
Good catch, Connie.
Does everyone approve of the minutes? Everyone?
Put your hand up.
Bill,
the phrase is, those in favor.
Okay, so let's do it this way, guys, because we have Zoom meetings with the Fair Board, and we have a lot of people joining those. It's easier if anybody opposes, speak up.
Okay.
Okay, so if you oppose, speak up. If you are in favor of, then you're in favor. Okay, so are there any opposed to approval of the minutes? So there are none. So the minutes are approved. Thank you. Approval of the agenda. I guess we're going backwards. So we had a first and seconder approval of the agenda. Any opposed to the approval of the agenda? There are none. So we'll move forward. Again, we skipped over number 5, visits arising from the minutes, the Burnside's facility assessment. So now we're on to Mary Ann's financial treasurer's report. And Mary Ann, we'll listen to you because we don't really have anything in front of us to follow you.
No, okay. I'm just looking here for I did all this here for you, and what did I do with my? Anyway. We're
padlock on the door. We're not full closed, so we're good.
You talking to me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Jesus, what did I do with that? This thing kind of threw me off when the thing wouldn't fire up. I had all these stuff here. Anyway, we have money in the bank of hold on a second, guys. Sorry. Okay, as of today, we have in the checking account, we have $108,973.74. For the capital fund one, we have $24,263.13. What else do you want to know? Our income really sucks right now.
Zero.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of in the hole here right now, as far as monthly. But I mean, we still have money coming in. So, and well, I guess that's all. I've got August hydro bill still has to be paid, and the Bale telephone has to be paid. And except for that, everything else is up to date, and everything balances.
Okay.
All right.
So I guess our hydro must be a little bit less anyway. I mean, not.
Oh, our
air
hydro
conditioning,
is
so-
our hydro is for this month is $123,
Okay,
and the Bale telephone is still $55.52.
right.
The biggest account was Sparling's, and that was for May, June. In June, we got the last Sparling for 500 and some.
Okay. Okay, so all things considered, we're healthy. So that's good. Now, do we need to approve that treasurer's report, Kayla, or no?
No, that's fine as information. There's
Okay.
nothing that requires payment. It's all for
Okay.
the budget, so you're good to go.
Is there any other information you need that Marianne didn't cover there, or no?
No, the it's basically a template of everything.
Okay.
That was Eddie. I thought that was Eddie having a burp.
Not quite.
Okay. Okay, so that's.
Sorry, no, I
that's our
just kept everything so that as points of order, just to continue and maintain the agenda. So a lot of boards
Okay.
just kind of roll through those because they're not doing anything due to the pandemic. So
Right. Okay. So we'll move on to booking update. I can't imagine that'll take very long, Marianne.
No, we have. I have kept. Hold on. I have kept some of the. Where's my Google Calendar? Some of the later ones, later bookings.
Right.
For example, I think it won't start now till October. We got October the 24th, and we have Small Halls is done. And we have one for the 20th. Oh, that one's canceled. Hold on. Then December, we have some of our Christmas stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we'll discuss the viability of those bookings once we get down to
Yeah.
the
Well,
main reason why we're meeting tonight. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's our booking update. Okay. So right now we are on to current business, which is why we called this meeting. And that is the big topic du jour, which is hall reopening. So just a quick little overview. The hall board chairs met on a Zoom meeting on July 20th. Everybody was present with the exception of two of the hall boards. And Terry Vashon, who's with us tonight, was part of the meeting, as well as Amanda. Amanda couldn't make it tonight's got his engagement. But thankfully, Terry has joined us tonight. I wanted Terry to join us because I knew you all would have questions that I may not be able to answer, and I knew Terry would be the man to answer them. So just a quick overview. When we had the meeting with the hall board chairs, some really good discussion. The main concern that I felt that night that was discussed, I guess I should back up a little bit. We're into stage 3 now here, up here in Clearview, which means we can open the community centers. The halls are free to open now. And I'm just reading over some notes here, the minutes that were made from that meeting. Community halls and heritage buildings are under no obligation to open, and no time frames have been prescribed. The hall boards and log cabin and jail board are welcome to begin their reopening on their own terms and comfort levels in conjunction with the township. So just as that sounds, we are free to resume business. Now, July 20th, so that's going back about 10 days. At that point, Terry and Amanda had asked us just to be patient and give a little more time for Amanda to get a reopening toolkit in place and just get things sorted out with the health unit to make sure we're doing everything properly. Basically, I think we had discussed as a group a long time ago to more or less just basically close the hall this year until further notice, just not take any bookings at all. But in the back of our minds, we were trying to get the church back in whenever we could get them in. Pastor Mike and the church that takes the hall every Sunday still don't have a home. I don't know if they've just been meeting in a parking lot or what they've been doing, or if they've been doing Zoom. We thought maybe after stage 2 that we could invite them back in, but there was a clause that places of worship could open, but we're a hall, we're not technically a church, so we couldn't let them back in, but now with stage 3 we can. The numbers that are allowed in the community halls now with the stage 3 are maximum of 50 people per indoor event, or a maximum of 100 people per outdoor event. But having said that, places of worship are maxed out at 30% of rooms capacity, so per floor. So just to make the math easy, let's say the top floor of Sunnidale Hall is 100. We're only allowed to have 100 people. That means the maximum they could actually have is 30. They could have their Sunday school downstairs, and if that, let's say the capacity downstairs is also 100, they could have 30 downstairs and 30 upstairs. So that's the caveat, is that places of worship are still maxed out at 30% of the room capacity. So there's that. Just another quick note. Actually, we'll get into the custodial and the cleaning staff after we discuss that part. So I'm going to open the floor. Kayla, if you want to take Terry and Mayor Measures off of mute there so Terry can address us, take everybody off mute. If everybody could just sort of, we're going to take everybody off mute, but just try not to talk over each other. So Terry, if you'd just like to address the group, maybe add what I missed, and then if you could field some questions, that would be great.
Sure, yes. Thanks, Bill. And hi, everyone. Nice to see you all again. It's nice to see you guys are all still safe and all nice and cozy at your homes. Yeah, so, I mean, Bill really captured the essence of that meeting. We thought it was a very proactive meeting. There's a lot of good questions by the hall chairs. So like Bill said, we're in the process of building a toolkit. These toolkits were used for the local businesses around Clearview. So Amanda and her team did a fantastic job creating these kits for the businesses. I think there's about 100 of them were delivered, and they were very well received. So what our plan was is to do similar kits for the. So just to give you an overview of what the kits contain. One is the information. So I don't know if you guys have circulated the draft education information, but there's about 14 pages of information that we have collected to help the halls reopen. So what are all the rules? What are the details of the toolkit? What's safe for all the employee volunteers? What log sheets have to be used. So there's a lot of information there that we put together for you folks. And like I said, it was very well received by the businesses. Just to add to the toolkit, the education component, there's the logbook sheets, there's some fact sheets, some hand sanitizer jugs, some face masks, some disposable wipes, some floor stickers. You might have seen those floor stickers around some of the local businesses. There's like 2 steps, and it says, "Thank you for practicing social distancing." It kind of guides people in and out. So that's included in the toolkit. And also over and above that, some locations, depending if they will serve food or alcohol, may have to put up plexiglass or windows in certain locations. So that's not part of the kit, but it is available if a hall board so chooses. So that's kind of the details of the kit. I think also, Bill, I mean, in the minutes there, the feedback that we got from a lot of the other halls, especially evening, was that they felt that it was too risky at this point, even through phase 3, to actually reopen. I think you will see through the information package that there's a lot of information and a lot of guidelines and a lot of things that still has to be done as part of phase 3. It's not a carte blanche just to open up your halls and have at her. There's still a lot of rules and a lot of safety measures that have to be put in place. So some of the halls have actually decided that I think Station on the Green's another one that they won't open. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Evening has already put through a resolution saying that they won't open till a vaccine's in place.
Yeah, that's
So,
correct.
yeah, so the chair was very concerned that he didn't want to put the volunteers in a position that they're interacting with the public. He had a lot of concerns, but that was one of the main ones. He didn't want to put volunteers who, that they don't. This isn't their livelihood. It's not like a small business where you absolutely need the money. A lot of the halls have some money in the bank, and they can ride the expenses over the course of the fall or over the course of the winter if required. So, so the essence is that some of the halls we want to remain closed. Like Bill said, you can open if you'd like. Once you read the education package and you put in place all the guidelines that have to be met and all the cleaning procedures, if you can meet those guidelines, then you're free to open. It's not going to be the township's decision if you're going to open or not, but we are definitely here to help you if you so choose, if you want to reopen. I guess the last point is that if you choose not to reopen, the township will not use or open the Sunnidale Hall either. So if it's closed, it's staying closed. It's not like we want to use it for any other events. We will respect that, and we will not, the township will not use that hall. It's up to the Sunnidale Hall Board to decide one way or the other. And like I said, if you want to reopen, we're here to help you out. So I think that's pretty much the essence, Bill. And
Yeah,
anybody has any
yeah, for sure.
concerns, I can do my best to try to answer them as best as I can.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. Yeah, it was Bill Hewitt from Evening that brought up that point, and he was very convincing. Actually, I have to say, listening to him, I thought he made a great point. He was very adamant that he has no interest in opening their hall until there's a vaccine. And the strong theme of that meeting that night was just the uncertainty of this pandemic, the disease, whatever you want to call it. As far as from a hall standpoint, the concern was if we do allow events to come back in, the biggest thing was the cleaning of the washrooms. That we kept on coming back to bathrooms, because when do you sanitize bathrooms? Do you sanitize it after every person goes in? Do you have to have a person wiping down the bathroom after every use? Kitchens, another person raised a point, like, do you really want people coming in and renting your hall and using your cutlery and your plates, and you're not sure if they're washing them and putting them away properly? Is the kitchen going to be completely off limits? So I thought Bill Hewitt made a really good point. I think, and I'll open up for discussion here in a minute. I think we're all sort of on the same page. And I know, Mary Ann, like, you really want to let Pastor Mike and the church come back in, and nothing else. And that might be okay, because the little bit that we do know about this COVID is that apparently its lifespan is 3 days or 72 hours on a surface. So just as a quick example, if we allow Pastor Mike and the church to come in on Sundays, and they're basically our only renter, they come in on Sundays and use it, and then the hall sits empty from 5 o'clock Sunday night until the following Sunday morning at 9 or 10 or whatever they come in. that's been all week for whatever has to happen to die off, and maybe that's good enough. And I know that the church has multiple services on Sunday. I know they have two. Perhaps with the maximum of 30%, maybe they'll have to go three. I don't know how big their congregation is, but if they decide that they need to have three sittings to get their church looked after on Sunday, perhaps there has to be a sterilization or cleaning between each of those. So I guess the discussion is, and we'll open it up. Let's not talk over each other, but Marianne, we'll start with you. What is your thought here on allowing the church to resume?
Well, I've said right from the start that they should be in their own bubble now. You know, they should know where their people are and what they're doing. And if that's the only thing we have for the next year, that for me just suits me fine. And I mean, if we have the cleaning supplies and that there for them, but it's going to be up to them too. You know, if this is going to be their hall for a year, let's say, it's going to be up to them to keep it sanitized. Now, I mean, I know Bill was saying about with the washrooms. I could never understand the washrooms. The washrooms, if you have soap, water, sanitizing there, I know they're talking about feces and all that, but they haven't really said if that's true or not. And, you know, but I mean, a washroom should be clean. I mean, you're washing your hands. You wash your hands when you go in. You should wash your hands and sterilize on the way out. But anyway, that's just my thought about washrooms. But I feel
that was part of the discussion as well with Terry and the group on the 20th, is that, yeah, people do have to take a certain amount of responsibility here because we're not babysitters.
that's right.
Yeah, and there's numbers. I mean, when you look at the numbers, maximum 50 people, I mean, it was kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Nobody's really keeping an eye on these numbers. So you're kind of on your honor with a lot of this stuff. So yeah, I agree with you, Marianne. I mean, yeah, people sanitize properly. I guess the question mark then comes in, where does Courtney, our current cleaning staff, fit into this? Does she come in on Monday mornings to give the hall a big once over?
I would say that she needs to come in on a Wednesday then.
Okay.
Because
Give
by
them a
that
chance to-
time, right? By that time, if there is any corona disease, it has gone through its whatever it does.
Right.
It should be
Okay.
gone.
Okay.
Now she's
Connie?
been
Okay,
coming
sorry.
in there and sorry, but she's saying she's been coming in and sterilizing, and I
Right.
keep coming in and everything smells. Well, there's nothing in there anyway.
I was in last week. It looks good. Connie, what are
Looks
your
good.
thoughts?
Thanks, Bill. Well, I'd like to let the church in, absolutely, but I would say absolutely not to anybody else. That way it will be on the church to keep eyes and control over their people. I think we have to leave the disinfectant material in each washroom, and it's up to them to clean them between their services. I would also say we close off the kitchen and they have to bring their own cutlery and utensils and plates. I'm sorry, folks, but I think the kitchen is just too many pieces and there's too much to look after. And we've got people in there in and out. We don't know what they've touched, what they haven't. I understand about the 48 hours, but let's just be safe and not worry about all of the places in the hall. They've got a place to put their heads. They got a roof over it. They're keeping the rain off. I think they'd be happy with that. That's my thought.
Marianne had raised a good point earlier when she and I were talking, that if the hall is going to be the lone renter from now till whenever, once they set up, they're set up. They don't need to tear down Sunday night for something that we're going to come in Monday, Wednesday, or whatever. They can basically set up and leave it set up. So they don't have to worry about moving chairs and all that. So, okay. Anything else, Connie? Or okay.
I agree, except that every chair has to be sterilized when they're gone.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So we have.
wipe it
We,
down,
I'm sorry.
but it's up to them to do it.
Yeah. Terry had made a mention in our meeting on the 20th, and we don't need to go to this extreme, but when Sega Beach was looking into some sort of a fogging type machine, Terry, where they could fog an entire building or something.
Lord.
Yes, yes, it's mainly for high traffic areas such as an arena with those washrooms that there's some new technology out there with these foggers that you can put in a washroom, and they basically you just fog this whole spray across the room and it disinfects the whole room, top to bottom, left to right. So I don't think we need that for the halls,
Right.
but right now, but maybe there's a smaller version of it that's going to come out in due time. I mean, obviously this is a world pandemic, so if there's a smaller version that comes out, it's something that maybe your janitor can use. So when they go in on a Wednesday, maybe there's a special fogger that's there for them that they could use to really give it that good disinfectant once a week. So once I
They
have,
also said
I'll
they
share it
said
with
this week that there's a drone system coming out that can fog an entire stadium in 3 hours.
Oh my goodness. At work at Med River, they bought some sterilizing stuff, and you mix it with water, and they have the large spray bottles, and you don't have to wipe it down. You spray your machine, you spray your chairs, whatever. You don't you just let it dry on its own, and it cleanses 99%. So let's say after their meeting, they just go down and they spray everything, chairs, electrical, their piano, their whatever they're using. Boom, boom, done.
The other
And
thing that they're going to have to do is there's going to be a logbook at the
Great
front
idea.
of the hall
Yeah.
as they're entering, and every person coming in needs to put their name and phone number every time they come. Not this Sunday and not next Sunday. We need to know every day who's in that hall. So if there is a confirmed case, we don't have to guess who is there and backtrack. We want to know exactly who is there and when. So that'll be set up. Barb, can you take yourself off of mute there and give us your thoughts, please?
So Bill, just before you go to Barb,
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
just before you go to Barb, that
Yep.
logbook is part of our kit.
Perfect.
We
Thank you,
provide
Terry.
our binders too.
Excellent. Okay, Barb, what are your
Good,
thoughts?
I guess the only thing I've been thinking about is who's the onus on cleaning. Are they going to be cleaning it? And then are we going to object or subject our cleaning staff to possibility of a virus? And the other thing I wanted to ask is liability. If someone gets sick in our hall, are we going to be liable? And is that going to come back on the town?
Terry can address that.
That's,
Yeah, that was on my list of little items to mention, because somebody said that the church is responsible for the cleaning, and they are during their event or during their
Service.
service. Sorry, I had the French name in my head.
I've been to church lately, Terry?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the hall board is responsible for the overall cleaning of the facility. So your plan of on a Wednesday, deep clean every Wednesday, that's fantastic. But yeah, we have insurance for this. Our insurance does cover it. Like anything else, we have to prove the documentation that we've done our due diligence. One of the items that I was going to add, and this is probably a good time to mention it, is maybe also ask the church if they can provide their procedures that they're going to do during their service.
yes.
I'm pretty sure they've
Yes.
been working on this. If we have that, we'll have documentation of what they say they will do. So if something happens, we could say, did you follow your procedures? And, and they go through it. Yep, we followed everything. Well, sometimes stuff happens and we're covered. So if we can get their procedures from them, that would be fantastic. If it's only one group, that's pretty easy. Amanda and I can help you out with that to make sure that their procedures meets the provincial and health unit guidelines. I'm sure all these churches all have these procedures already all pretty much done up anyways, which is good. So that way we know what they do, and then we can share with them what you guys do to make sure it's clean for them, because I'm sure they're going to have concerns as well. They want to be able to go into a building that's safe and clean and disinfected as well, right? They're concerned for their people as much as we're concerned of ourselves for them. So yeah.
And I
so
agree with
question, Barb. Yeah,
I
we are responsible.
I agree with Connie about keeping the kitchens closed so that there's no access to the kitchens. and they should bring in and take out their own garbage. And we shouldn't have to worry about getting it out to the road, whether it's recycle or not. They should be taking it all away, so cleaning staff doesn't have to deal with that part.
Marianne, what was the extent of church as far as what they did food-wise? Did they have like a lunch every time, or what did they do?
Well, I think they were at one time, but I mean, we'll put a stop to that. But I see some, maybe some cookies and that after. But maybe we'll just have to play that one by ear. I think they can bring paper towels, paper plates in, but they'll, like Barb says, and I like that idea. They have to get rid of their own garbage, take their garbage.
Yeah. Terry, this is even with stage 3. This is an indoor public space, so these people will be obligated to wear masks, correct?
That's correct, Bill. And that was another item on my list. Yes, this is a regulation that was put in place by the local health unit. The Sunnidale Hall is considered a public venue, and people are going to be in close vicinity. So yes, everybody must wear a mask at all times.
Okay, perfect. Ed, can you hear us? Can we get your thoughts, Ed?
Yes, but I'd like to just ask a question. What is the numbers of the hall in person?
Yeah,
Does
Marianne
anybody
and I,
really know the numbers? If it was
not
only
off the top of my head. I know there's,
I think
if you take 30%
total.
of that, it cuts it down quite a bit.
yeah, do we know what the top level is, Marianne? You and I, like, there's a sign in the kitchen that says how many if we're having alcohol and how many if we're dry. I can't remember what they are. We'll have to look.
Yeah, I think it was with alcohol. I think it was 80, but it was a bit more
Right.
without alcohol. But
Yeah.
I haven't been in to
So
check on that.
it's going to be close to 30 persons. We'll make sure that we get the numbers correct before we go back to them.
Well, I was just wondering, then how could you just go at 100, like, or are you still going to use your alcohol numbers?
No, non-alcoholic.
There'll be no liquor license, so I don't think we can get away with pretending it's a.
Oh, but what I'm thinking of is for numbers. Is that the numbers you're going to use for your count?
We'll use the non-alcohol event number for that floor, so it'll actually work better for them. Yeah, we'll end up using whatever that number is. It's probably closer to 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that means they could have 30 people upstairs, and then if they do decide to run a Sunday school downstairs for the kids, I mean, I don't think they get a tremendous amount. I'd be surprised if there's even a dozen people downstairs, usually, including their supervisor or babysitter, whoever's down there. So.
I don't really think it's that. I think they had about 4 or 5 kids, and then a couple of teachers.
So Ed, are you in favor of us moving forward, allowing the church to come back then?
I am, yes, I am. If it works out the way you have it planned, I think it's all right. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds as though we're unanimous in our desire to allow the church to resume their measures. Yes, sir.
Sorry, Bill, I just want to jump in too. I think that it's. Thank you. I think that it's a good idea to have a consult with either the pastor or the elder of the church and really lay out some of these requirements. Only because I'm aware of a church in the Collingwood area that is rejecting the ideal of wearing masks during their indoor services, and so just want to make sure that we're clear that. We can open the facility, we can, give it to them, and it would be a great opportunity, but they really must follow all those guidelines. So I think you need to have that honest conversation with them. And, I think your rental to them, if you're thinking about giving it them sort of exclusively, then you might want to offer that as an exclusive thing that the janitorial services is now all of yours. And then you guys as volunteers, when you go into the hall, off days for any reason, you want to make sure that you protect yourselves because you can't be assured that they have in fact done the proper janitorial service.
Due diligence, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a good idea. I think you really do need to sit down and have a conversation with them to see what level of responsible actions that they're prepared to take. And also, you know, some people take it very seriously. Other people really cast off the actual clear danger that we're all facing here. So, you know, I think you better have that conversation and be honest. You need to do it face to face. So, you know, since you technically can go in the hall now, you could do it there at the hall with masks on and have a conversation and, you know, stay 6 feet apart and talk about it.
So,
A
Mayor
question
Measures,
I'd like to ask.
would you recommend, Mayor Measures,
Yes,
would
the
you
question I'd like to ask
recommend that
him,
Go ahead, Ed.
like, is this, whenever you turn this over to the church, is this what they call a church? Will the hall be called a church whenever you give them the authority they can use it?
Well, again, that's kind of a gray area because, again, it's not, I mean, unfortunately, we fall under the clause of a place of worship, even though we're not a church. Like for the church coming in, it's technically, I guess, a place of worship while they're there. I think I even posed the question, Terry, during our meeting on the 20th. Like if the church just decided to rent the hall as a group, not technically a church, could they get away with 50 people instead of 30? And I think it was like, no.
The only reason why I'm asking this is the churches have regulations they have to go by too, and there's no singing or anything like that during the service. We were talking to a pastor today,
That's
and
correct.
he said they have restrictions, and it's altogether different services other times.
For sure.
Terry,
They
Terry, go
couldn't,
ahead.
they couldn't sing with the
Terry, go,
mask
please.
on.
You're up, Terry.
No, they could, yeah, even with the mask on, they can't sing.
Oh, well, I don't get that, but anyway.
Bill, I was
Okay,
just
Terry,
gonna add,
Terry has the floor.
yeah, I was just going to add that that's part of their procedures, part of their plan that they're going to give to us, to you guys. They're going to spell out in their plan what they will and will not do. So once you get that on paper, you can see, and if it says that, then it's an added safety measure, which is good. But I'm sure there's a lot more little things that they're thinking about doing or that we can evaluate once you receive it.
Is there some sort of a clause or a waiver form, Terry, that would make sense that we get the church to agree to our terms, or?
Top of my head, Bill, I don't know. I know
Like a contract almost.
Yeah, there may be. Let me get back to you on that one.
Okay.
But I mean, I know that a lot of the users are getting their members to sign waivers. So perhaps the church is getting their people to sign a waiver to protect them. Again, that'll be part of
Marianne.
Yeah.
Marianne, we've got a really good relationship with this church. We've had them now for how many years? 10? Like a long time.
Long time,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a pretty good thing going with them. I'd like to think there's a certain amount of trust that if we do have a heart-to-heart, one-on-one, you know, I think we can hash things out. So it sounds like from what Mayor Measures has said, we need to outline our terms, look at what they have for their own terms, and then make sure that everybody's on the same page. So.
Yeah.
If I can add, that's exactly where I'm going, because I think, you know, we have a rental agreement. If everything was equal, it would be a simple form, fill it out, go have a great day. But obviously there's a great deal of restrictions now at play. So you need to sort of reassess the restrictions and the rental agreement. And I think the caveat or the carrot that you would play out for them would be the fact that they'll be the exclusive renter for the foreseeable future, right?
Yeah.
And so that being good, that might be a really positive thing for them to feel comfortable with the fact that they have a space that is secured and they know and is also safe, because they're going to have to take responsibility for the sanitization of it. Now, obviously, as Terry said, the township will provide a kit, and part of that kit is a stand-up hand sanitizing dispensing device, right, Terry? So So that's something we will obviously stock, and we will make sure that it's in place and provide it. But they're going to need to do some of their own of that too, like little hand sanitizing bottles, as well as, you know, all that, like the
Cleaning supplies, yeah.
supplies, etc.
I have a
But
question. I have a
anyway,
question.
that's where I was just
Is-
going with this, if they don't mind. I think that it's important, Bill.
If
So good
they
luck.
are going to be the exclusive renter of the hall, is it going to be for every day or just Sunday? That should be made
Just a Sunday.
clear.
Just Sundays.
Just Sunday.
Just Sundays.
Yeah.
Yep. Just Sundays.
I
Now,
mean,
if they go
that
back to
means-
the old way, go ahead, Barb.
okay. Go ahead. I just was saying that as long as it's understood that it is Sunday, just because they're exclusive doesn't mean to say they can go in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever.
Well,
Now-
they can if they want to pay us some more rent money, but
Yeah,
they're, you know.
Now I mean,
So if
they
they go back
have,
to the way they used to be, go ahead, Marianne.
I was just gonna say they have rented on occasion, Friday, if
Right.
they're having something, you know, Easter. I'm saying that on top of my head. So there might be some days that we may, you know, a full weekend where they've got something going on, but that may not happen now because of restrictions. So
Right. All I was going to say was if it goes back to the way that they used to do their services where they had a morning and then an afternoon, so they only did the two, correct, Marianne?
two of them, yeah.
So,
5 o'clock.
so if that would be the case, let's say they only have two, really they only need to clean, sterilize between their two services. If they want to walk out after their afternoon service and not clean, that's fine too, because by the time Wednesday comes along and Courtney comes in to do the good thorough cleaning, COVID should be dead. If she wants to even put it off to Thursday just to give herself an extra 24 hours,
Yeah.
she could do that. They don't technically need to do the full sterilization after the second service because nobody's going to be in there. Nothing's going to happen until the following Sunday. So
Yeah.
But it's a good policy for if they're going to be using in the hall after the second service, they should at least go in and tidy the washrooms.
Connie
Well,
had her
because-
hand up for a comment. Connie, did you still have that comment? I don't know if everybody, I can see it.
Yes, thank you. My thought when Doug said something about volunteers, I was thinking we have township staff that goes in there. They should be told not to go in there before Wednesday any week.
Oh, yeah.
If we have an
Yeah.
emergency, they should not be in there before Wednesday if we all want to follow that 48-hour protocol.
What
the
staff?
72 hours.
Well, we have the water guys that come in, Terry, and they check the water meter and the water situation there.
Right.
So I'm thinking of that kind of thing. And the other thing would be an emergency, but if we had an emergency, they'd have no choice. They just have to suit up or whatever. So anyway, to inform staff about that, the water guys or the public
Mayor
works.
Measures?
Thank you. Just to support that too, it's also to remind all of you volunteers that if you go in, you got to make sure that you sign the little book to say that you were there. Okay? Wear a mask, do your hands, that kind of thing. And do your hands when you leave too. After you're out in your own car, do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be a good time, Marianne, to reevaluate who all has keys to the hall right now too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a
Well,
list of that. I know I have
Yeah.
one, you have one. I don't know if Barb, Connie,
Barb-
Ed, if everybody
Barb
has.
one, Danny
I
has
have
one. Yeah.
Does Danny have one?
Danny's got one because he opened up for
Euchre.
but he
Right.
won't be going back in.
No.
Like, I think Ed has one.
I
Ed, you know,
have one, Ed.
and then Pastor Mike has one.
Okay. Any more comments? Any more discussion on this? I'm thinking great discussion, great points by everybody, and I think now's the time. Marianne, you've had the most commentary, or the most connection with Pastor Mike. If you'd like to reach out to him and see when he could have a face-to-face. I'm on holidays for I go back a week from Monday or whatever. Anyway, if Pastor Mike can join the two of us for a face-to-face at the hall, just to go discuss, see where they stand. Maybe they found a new home. I have no idea. I don't know what the plan is. If they have
I
a
know,
group, if they've said they're
I know I've been getting emails from him, and I mean, he was really upset when the whole thing shut down. And I'm
Right.
going, cannot come in. Everything is shut
Yeah.
down. He says, we'll just look after it ourselves. No, he says, you can't come in. But he has been in touch with me,
Okay.
so I haven't talked. I'm surprised I haven't talked to him since we went to stage 3, really,
Okay.
because I thought for sure he'd be on there wondering what's going on. But I'll give him a call. Now we're going to be away this weekend,
Okay.
so we won't be back now. So this weekend will be no, like unless we get
Yeah.
talking to him. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, yeah, maybe Terry, do you think it's realistic that we could be within 2 weeks of allowing the church to resume if we hash it out with Pastor Mike? Say 2 weeks from this Sunday, or still more time?
That's an Amanda question.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think 2 weeks is going to be close. The problem is
Okay.
that we've placed the order for all the material. So all the stickers, the hand sanitizer, the wipes, the posters, all that stuff's been ordered. I don't know how quick that's going to come in. So
Okay.
that's an Amanda question, but maybe, I could fire, I think she's on vacation the rest of the week, but maybe next week, Tuesday, we can get a
Okay.
better sense of when that stuff's coming in. So it might be, I can't guarantee it.
Okay. Better to say late August, early September?
Yeah.
September.
to be safe.
September.
I
I would
have a
say
question.
Okay,
September.
so, okay. Yes, Barb, go ahead. Barb, go ahead.
Just on a note, I was at my dentist's office or phoned my dentist office, and they are charging for the PPE for the employees, and that's added onto your bill. With all this cleaning supplies that you're talking about that's going to be put in the hall, will there be an additional charge added on to the rent?
Terry, go ahead.
Well, adding a charge to the rent is up to the hall board, but I could tell you that all the expenses that are part of the toolkit, there's some face masks in there, that's covered by us. We got a grant from the United Way to pay for that. So it won't cost the hall board any money for the toolkit and the items in it. If you want to do a charge to them, that's up to you, but we're not going to charge you. You're getting it free from us. We got a grant for it.
Right,
Oh.
and I mean, the hall's been such a good renter. We're not going to gouge them for $100 a month for cleaning supplies. I mean, they've been good to us, so we'll eat whatever costs we have to as far as that to get them back in, and we're still paying Courtney, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. So, do we, Kayla? Do we need a motion from somebody that Marianne and I will meet with Pastor Mike?
Yeah,
to
you
discuss,
could do
the
a motion for that. Your biggest motion that I can see right now is approving the hall being open exclusively to the church rental,
Okay.
should they choose.
Okay. Okay.
This is assuming that there is an appetite, but absolutely
Yeah.
you should talk to the church first.
Pending
Mayor-
negotiations, obviously. Yeah,
Yes,
pending
yeah.
negotiations with them so that they agree to meet the terms of the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit's guidelines, as well as the Clearview Township's expectations.
Connie, could you make that motion, because I know you'll word it properly for us? Take
I will
yourself
make
off
that.
mute.
Yeah. So I have
Connie, unmute, Connie.
there you go.
Don't hide from us now. There she is.
You know. I so moved. Never mind, just a minute. I got motorcycles going by. That's my corner. That's my noise. Hope you all love
Oh, they're
that.
coming by my place now. They're going too damn fast.
Well, they read my corner. It sucks. Okay, so I so move that we open Sunnidale Hall exclusively to the, what kind of church is it?
Calvary Baptist
Oh, the
Church.
Calvary
Calvary
Church.
Road. Calvary Road Baptist Church.
After negotiations with Master Mike, if you want to put Pastor Mike's name in or not.
McSwiggin.
Squiggins.
McSwiggin.
Seconder for the motion? There's a seconder for the motion?
I shall second that motion, Ed.
Okay. So a motion by Connie, second by Ed. Any opposed? Okay, well, the good thing is they're Baptist, so there's no threat of them dancing. They might sing, but. Okay, so we will, yes, Terry, go ahead.
Just to remind the group, you should be receiving a facility toolkit package. I encourage you all to read it. It's very easy to read. It really spells out the details. It has links to websites. Please take a few minutes to read that over. It'll give you all a good idea of what some of those regulations are and what we're going to be helping with and what we're going to provide you guys with. So please read that. I think Amanda's sharing it next week with you folks. And we'll also be bringing a report to council on August the 13th to inform them of this package as well as Sunnidale Hall decisions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, so it looks like, so Marianne will find a way to make contact with Pastor Mike, and we'll express to him that it looks like it's going to be not until the first Sunday of September that they'll be allowed back in. Just, I think we need to, you know, rather than hemming and hawing saying could be late August, let's just make a firm, you know, 1st of September would be the earliest they could get
Good
back
idea.
in. Okay. Okay, so
First Sunday in September is the 6th.
and that's probably Labor Day weekend. They may not even want it. I don't know. But, yeah. So now another point that came up during our meeting on 20th of July, and it was brought to our attention by Linda Coulter from Station on the Green, and it revolved around cleaning staff. So I'm just going to read quickly here what was written as part of the minutes that came out after that meeting. It says, Terry provided an updated information on boards hiring cleaning staff, contracted, and the new insurance requirements. Persons or companies are required to have a WSIB or personal liability insurance when performing work at the facilities. Personal liability insurance can be added to a person's home insurance at a cost of between $200 and $300 up to $1,000 annually. And these additional costs may prove challenging for hiring outside contractors. So that came up in conversation because I believe it was Linda at Station the Green said that they had recently lost their cleaner that they'd had for 20 years or something.
Yeah.
And they were really struggling finding somebody to come in and take over that position with the COVID situation. And that, of course, Linda actually was quite knowledgeable about this, and she brought it to our attention, and Terry hammered it home about the insurance. So, Terry, we currently have Courtney Hubbard as our cleaner. She has her own cleaning business, Courtney Smith Cleaning. She was a Smith before she got married. I don't know that she's got liability insurance. I would like to think, and we'll find this out, obviously, but as a business owner that goes into people's homes, I would think that she would have liability insurance. We'll find that out. But so just reading your notes, so WSIB or liability, not both. Is that correct?
Well, it depends if she has any employees. So if
Okay.
one
Not
person,
yet.
she doesn't have any employees.
No,
she
she's
does.
independent. Yeah.
Yeah, independent. So yeah, so I mean, her insurance provider would guide her through that. WSIB is to protect businesses who have employees. So if they get hurt on the job, and it's mandatory, you have to have WSIB if you have employees. But I mean, it depends on the insurance coverage that she has. So a lot of them have it as part of their home insurance, and that's okay. But again, it depends on what the coverage she has on her own liability insurance. But if she is a bona fide business and she has a business number, then I'm pretty sure she has that coverage.
Okay.
But if
We'll check with, yeah.
You also have WSIB.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. So we will check with that. Now, Marianne raised an interesting question / point. If now Courtney doesn't, how can I say this nicely? Courtney doesn't have a lot of money. They're part of a young couple starting out. They don't have a lot of extra money, so an extra few $100 or $1,000 a year for liability insurance may not be in the cards for her if she doesn't have it now. Marianne had made a point when we were talking a while back. legally or through the proper channels, if Courtney were to become a board member of the Sunnydale Corners Hall and she were still our cleaner, would she be covered with her board member insurance for cleaning the hall? How would that, Doug, Mayor Measures, do you know?
The same with Mike, the way it happened with Mike.
Yeah, Mike Schmidt was our cleaner and he was our board chair forever. What are the thoughts on that? Is that a gray area? Is that a little?
It's an excellent idea. The challenge there, of course, is that the whole activity of conflict of interest comes into play when they're a board member and then they're being paid, right? So you have to make sure that that's fully disclosed at all times. So you have to be careful of that one. But I would suggest that through Terry as the staff member, he could consult with our treasurer, believe it or not, who is our resident expert on insurances, etc. So perhaps Terry could have a conversation with Kelly McDonald and give you an answer on that.
Okay. Yeah, if Terry, you could look in, that would be wonderful. That'd be
I sure
great.
will.
I don't think it's been a big secret all these years that Mike Schmidt was on, not the payroll, but Mike was getting a small honorarium for his work, as does Marianne as being our bookkeeper. So I don't think we really go out of our way to hide it.
No, and again, it's not about the hiding, Bill. As you know, it's all about the transparency of government. That's where we are. And unfortunately, there are those in our community who are monitoring that very closely.
God bless them. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So Terry, we could leave that with you then?
Yep, I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So just a quick scan back of our agenda. New business. I don't think there's any new business. Has anybody got any new business to bring up?
I have one
Barb, if you
point.
have any, you're on mute. Yes, Kayla?
Is there any appetite for in-person meetings from this hall board? I'm just preparing a protocol to go into in-person meetings. So is that something this hall board feels comfortable doing? Is this, for my own research and going forward with it?
I can't speak for everybody else, but I would certainly be in favor of a socially distant face-to-face meeting again, or getting back into face-to-faces at the hall, if and when it's allowed. Anybody, Marianne, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I'm, you know me, I'm always good for a good gap session. But, I mean, since if we just have the church in there, there won't be any reason except for, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. Yeah. We certainly don't need monthlies. Maybe quarterly at this point, if that. So, yeah. If nothing else, maybe our annual general
Or
meeting.
if something comes up, if we need a meeting, we'll just, get in touch with everybody and say, this has come up. We better have a discussion about it.
Okay. Mayor Measures. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. Good points. And you're right. I think it's important to get together in person and still have, a level of confidence in our communications with each other as we, it's difficult to actually read people's body language through these little square video screens. So I think that it's a good idea. The challenge, of course, is that some of your board may not be comfortable doing that. So one of the points that I made with the clerk was that we need to consider, and that's what Kayla's looking at, we need to consider a hybrid version of this, such that you may have 2-3 people together in the room, but you still have a computer running with the, this format running in the background. So it's a possibility of doing it like that. Who knows? Hybrid.
So you heard the measures saying hall with high-speed Wi-Fi. Thank you, measures. Appreciate that.
You have my vote. You have my vote there, Doug.
If it was only so easy, my friends. If it was only so easy.
Barb, are you comfortable with face-to-face meetings again, socially distant?
Yes, yeah, social distancing, and if we have to, wear masks.
Absolutely.
Connie, you would be the most vulnerable of any of us right now with your current challenges. So
No,
what are
I'm
your
okay
thoughts?
with it, as long as we meet after Wednesday.
Okay, okay. Ed, on the phone, are you comfortable getting back together face-to-face at the hall for in-person meetings?
Yes, and I'd like to call a meeting in September.
Okay, all right, and
Can
we
you come up with a
will,
date?
okay, we'll get a hold of Danny and Sherry Baker if she wants to attend as well, Marianne. So,
Yep.
okay, okay. So, is there anything, Terry, yes?
Just, so if the Sunnidale board, hall board, sorry, decides that they want to do this, I think it would be prudent, Bill, that some sort of letter, memo, email that the board shares with the township of what guidelines you're going to put in place to make sure everybody's safe. So the masks, the cleaning, the in, the out, the signing, all that stuff should be all documented.
Okay,
It could be proven that you guys took all the measures in place to make sure that everybody was safe. That if God forbid something happened, it's documented that you did everything you can to make sure that everybody was safe at all times.
Mayor Measures?
Thank you, Bill, and a good point, Terry. Further on this, Bill, I'm not trying to be heavy-handed or anything, but we will not permit it until such time as the clerk and Kayla prepare this report about how we will do in-person meetings, okay? So we simply won't permit it right now, but we will work towards that, and Kayla's doing the right thing by asking. And that's what she's trying to do, is prepare information for her report, which she and Pam and everybody will put together, okay?
Yeah, as Terry was saying that, in the back of my mind, I was thinking almost a letter of a declaration of our intent for our hope, our intent to allow the church to resume on the 6th of September, and the guidelines will be this, and as agreed upon, and then we'll submit that as a letter to township for your approval. Okay. Anything else, Ed? Do you have anything else to add?
Yes, I would, just a question to Marianne. What, on the cost of hydro, what made it be so high?
So high, it's gone down. Well, we don't have the air conditioner on. We
Yeah,
haven't
but
got
$100 for a month,
Well, I
or is
thought
that for 3 months?
I thought that was pretty cheap, $123.
Dehumidifier's running nonstop.
And the
There's
one
lights. There's lights. There's, you know,
one fridge.
the fridges, the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, you answered my question.
Yep. But we haven't got the air conditioner on, and that's what usually makes it spike up.
I realize that, but, well, the fellows in there are not complaining. They'll do without air conditioner.
okay. Anybody else? Okay. Anything else to add, anybody? Or are we all done? Could I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Moved by Ed, second by Barb will
I'll
second.
second it.
Yeah.
Okay, we are adjourned. Mayor Measures, Terry, and Kayla, thank you very much for your time, and we will keep you all informed where we get with Pastor Mike. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.